Well, the Hillary Clinton email scandal seems to be getting a bit bigger today. That is, the State Department has flagged more than 300 emails for containing possible classified information. But you know, Mrs. Clinton continues to deny she had classified material on that private server, stressing she never sent or received any emails that had information clearly marked classified. And she charges the criticism is all about partisan political attacks. But what could happen? Joe Trippi is a former Howard Dean campaign manager and Fox's contributor. Brad Blakeman, former deputy assistant to the President George W. Bush and professor of public policy and politics and international affairs at Georgetown University. Welcome to you both. Brad,
thank you.
Let me start with you. First it was 2, then it was 4. Then it was 63. Now they're concerned about 300. And you know, in the past, people have been criminally charged and indicted for the unauthorized possession and handling of classified material. Could that happen to Hillary?
There's no doubt about it. And look, don't take my word for it. Bob Woodward, who exposed Watergate, said the other day that this smells of Watergate. This is a cover-up. This is a deliberate diversion away from classified emails that the State Department already had operational security over. And Hillary chose, this is a self-created crisis by Hillary, who chose to use exclusively personal emails for her official business. And I will tell you, as somebody who worked at the highest echelons of government, that you could not conduct official business as Secretary of State without using electronic devices for classified material. This is the tip of the iceberg. The FBI is going to get to the bottom of it. And by her saying this is some political witch hunt is Clintonism. This is Clinton speak. It depends what your definition of classified is. It won't work.
Well, Joe, do you think she's going to get charged?
No. Look, I think the one thing Brad and I can agree with is this was self-inflicted, and it was, and even she says it was a mistake to have the one device and the things that got her into this. But the reality is, look, let's step back for a second. The State Department is flagging 305 for possible to make sure to go to other agencies and say, is there classified information in these emails? They haven't determined that there is, and it's totally possible that none of the 305 are.
But what if there
Brad
is?
could be right. There might. Well, if there is, then we're going to find out. As Brad pointed out, the FBI and Justice Department will tell us that. Until then, a lot of the flogging of this information of the charges is partisan, not the questioning of the emails, but just the battering ram that is going on this is partisan.
Yeah, but isn't
the problem with that is
the battering ram, as you call it, is that legit? I mean, isn't it? Some would say it's legitimate. I mean, look, David Kendall, her lawyer, apparently has 3 thumb drives, and they're now questioning whether or not he had authorization for that. His client, David Petraeus, got jammed up and was on probation, $100,000 fine. Now Kendall is representing Hillary on this.
No, I'm not saying the questions, yeah, and she's going to get questioned by Gowdy at the committee and later on. All these things are legitimate. I'm saying, and frankly, she can blame no one but herself for putting herself in the position of the opposition, battery ramming this issue because she's the one that created it. I'm not denying any of that. I'm getting back to charges, indictments, etc. I just don't think in the end that's going to happen. And I don't think the case between her, the Petraeus case and this, are not similar at all. They're totally completely different cases.
Brad, is that the case?
No,
she's going
more
Sergeant Schultz on this. I don't know anything. I didn't see anything. I don't,
exactly.
Not me.
Yeah, and guess what? A fish rots from the head. She was in charge of the State Department. At a minimum, every communication from a sitting Secretary of State or electronic device has the lowest classification, at least of confidential. But we already know there were top secret documents that were used in her personal email. The fact that they weren't marked classified is irrelevant, because as Secretary of State, she should have known that the materials that she was discussing in electronic emails were classified. They didn't have to be marked such. And if that's her defense, then she has no defense. And the fact is that every communication of a Secretary of State on a device should have been held by a classified server within the State Department. She didn't do it, and now she's going to have to answer for it.
All right, well, that's Joe, very quick quickly.
Yeah, look, what I think is left out here is this could also be a creation of her own problem. She wants all 30,000 of these emails to be released to the public. The State Department is going through them, and they know these 305
Joe,
are going to become public.
All right,
they don't
Joe,
want that.
We're up against the clock. We'll see.